Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Don Mafia Live. The Bills are set to play the New York Giants tomorrow at noon. I'm thrilled because we're finally going to get a good understanding of what some of our rookies looked like, what some of our recently acquired free agents are going to look like, because virtually all of the starters are going to be on the field for at least the first quarter, with the exception of Josh Allen. There is a couple of breaking news pieces. We just ultimately ended up coming to agreement with a new kicker. Again, it's probably going to cause a bit of concern for Tyler Bass, who has been sidelined with a pelvic injury for the past 7 to 8 practices. And then among other stories surrounding your favorite Buffalo Bills organization. Guys, my name is Dan Mitchell. I consolidate each and every single piece of information that comes out of Bills camp across the NFL. Fasten your seatbelts for yet another quality stream. Everybody, I got to tell you, as you're coming in, hit that thumbs up sign. We are on a mission to build one of the tightest communities on the internet amongst Bills fans. I want to recruit more people into the family. How we can do that, making it more entertaining for you to engage with other fans across the world, just do me a favor and hit that thumbs up sign. It propels us out to the YouTube algorithm, and then it helps me out quite a bit. You know I'm nosy. Do me a favor. Sound off in the comments. Let me know. All right? Sound off in the live chat. Where are you tuning in from? Roll call. Bills Mafia roll call time. Do not be shy. I am including the lurkers in this conversation. Smash that like button and let me know where you are tuning in from. I do need to give a couple of housekeeping things. Number one, last night was the first episode of the Bills Roundtable. It is myself, Z-Bot, Bills Bunker, and Kevin Masari. We are live on Thursdays at 5 p.m. EST typically. Say, for example, that you guys want to check this episode out once this stream is over with. I highly recommend that you hit that link right in the description and go give it a try. We would definitely appreciate a subscription, some bell notifications, like this video, and tune in. It's a really cool dynamic between 4 creators of the Buffalo Bills giving you their takes. Highly, highly recommend you go check that out. Link is in description. Go check that out after the case. And last but not least, you college football fanatics out there, all right? Me and my buddy Jay Tuck from the Roundtable Sports Network, we have launched a college football show. Last episode, last night, we ended up predicting all of the conference champions for the Power 4 conferences in all of college football. Say, for example, that you love college football, I highly recommend you check out this show as well. We are live Mondays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. EST. That link is in the description as well. All right. I hope everybody in here is roll calling in the chat. Let's see what everybody is feeling, or how everybody is feeling so far. Work lurking in the work van. What's going on, man? Work lurking. I can appreciate that any day of the week. We have Attica, New York. Go Bills, especially my number 86, Dalton Kincaid, who I would say is going to be a player I would like to pay attention to. He's probably going to be having at least one full quarter of reps, like right across the board. And we have to see whether or not that he can transition this very positive training camp so far into regulation snaps, even if it is Mitchell Trubisky. What can he provide to the table? Ohio is in the building. Pennsylvania is in the building. We have Arizona, remembering Bills Mafia in Knoxville, Tennessee, representing, Bills Mafia in Knoxville, Tennessee. Boris, what's going on, man? Hope you are doing well this beautiful Friday morning. Bills Mafia in EP, Texas Forever Street. Stockton, California is in the building. Get off of my lawn. Altoona, Iowa is in the building. Granville, New York. Talk to me. I think I need to come on here more and keep you grounded. You're getting a little too arrogant with the Buffalo Bills takes. I got to tell you what, Glenn, it's not very difficult for me to be arrogant, right? And I wouldn't even call it arrogance, right? Like, this Buffalo Bills team, at least for the most part, has proven that we're going to win the AFC East. If, for example, like we were talking about the playoffs and getting past the Kansas City Chiefs, then maybe we would have an entire different conversation. I think I'm pretty grounded at that level. But from what every other team did this offseason, nothing has really swayed me. While Buffalo ended up improving from last year from a depth perspective, I think that we're in really good shape. And me predicting the Buffalo Bills to win the AFC East, I do not think is arrogant whatsoever, more so just being realistic at this point. Me and the Hammer are in Granville, New York. Iowa is at work. Question, do you think James Cook is going to play at all on Saturday? That's probably going to be a conversation we're going to have, but say that I'm giving an educated guess, likely not. Good morning, Dan the Man from sunny St. Cloud, Florida. First time yesterday watching your AFC East Roundtable. I really enjoyed that. Light of Truth, I appreciate that, man. Listen, we have a lot of really good shows in the Roundtable Sports Network. I highly recommend you check them out, man. Thank you so much for being a supporter. Morning, Dan. Taylor from Nashville. Go Bills. Taylor, what's going on, man? Hope all is well. Dan, the College Roundtable show was great yesterday. I definitely disagree with your picks. Hey, man, listen. I love the fact that you enjoyed what we were talking about yesterday. I'm sorry I didn't give a bit more love to your team, Virginia Tech, but you know what? I reserve the right to have my mind changed on the squad. I'm interested to see what sleepers arise in college football this year, so we can be fine with that. Dan is not arrogant. He's just confident because he supports the NFL's #1 team. Go Bills. Absolutely. Good morning, Dan. Khalil Shakir, how are you doing? Tapping in from St. Louis, bro. Can we talk about the AR injury? You got to pick up that block. You know what? I just ended up making a TikTok on this. And right before we end up getting into Bills stuff, I think that we should have a conversation about this third-year quarterback, which really sort of grinds my gears because a lot of people are like, oh my God, like he could be the next Josh Allen as long as he figures it out. First off, I want to say that being the next Josh Allen is very unrealistic. What Josh Allen was able to do as far as his jump right into becoming an elite quarterback in this league was almost an anomaly. You have never seen a quarterback make that jump in the accuracy department that Josh Allen did from year 2 going into year 3. Like, talk about an unlikely story. And so many people, like you always see these quarterbacks that come out of draft after draft and they say, oh my God, he could be that, man. Look at his size. Look at his arm strength. Yeah, his accuracy was a massive issue in college. But look, with Josh Allen improved on that, it's not as easy as I think people are willing to admit. But look, my biggest issue was with this play last night for Anthony Richardson.
All right, look.
Largely had to do with the fact that this wasn't even coming from his blind side. We ended up seeing this, and of course, viewer discretion advised. But look, I do not believe that a player at all, wants to be injured. But he is injury prone. Have you all ever seen that meme from SpongeBob, that one guy that his skin was made of paper, his bones were made of glass or something? It's like this giant meme about how he's always injured. He breaks his legs every Monday. He breaks his arms every Tuesday or something. Like, y'all know what I'm talking about. I completely forget his name. Let me know who that SpongeBob character was. But being injury prone is one thing. But there are so many clips circulating on the internet. There's so many examples that Anthony Richardson brings this upon himself. This pressure came from his damn blind side. And luckily, right, because we're not going to wish injury on any player in the NFL, the x-rays came back clean on Anthony Richardson's finger. And they're saying that he should be back within the next couple of practices. Here's my take on this, right? Do not waste another second giving Anthony Richardson first team reps. Don't do it. Because for every rep that Daniel Jones misses out on during this very important time, that's going to ultimately end up hurting him. Because say, for example, that you run with Anthony Richardson and once again he starts playing recklessly and he hurts himself. Those reps that Daniel Jones could have been taking all of the preseason, all of training camp, are going to be sorely missed. Like, look, I'm not saying that Daniel Jones is going to be the next Sam Darnold or this year's Sam Darnold or 2 years ago's Baker Mayfield. But what I can tell you is that I feel that we really, really need to just accept the inevitable, that Jones has to be QB1. That's my take on the situation. unfortunately, with Anthony Richardson. But look at what my boy was able to do. This right here, at least the guy has some sort of pocket presence. Like, he understood the pressure was coming. And I mean, look at that damn completion from DJ. I think that Daniel Jones is by and large the best possible option for this team. But of course, here we are. Dan, thanks for the grind. You're putting much high-value content. Thoroughly enjoy. Scott, I appreciate that, man, and I hope you were enjoying your Friday. Folks, there's 88 of you watching me right now. Do me a favor, hit that thumbs up sign as you come in. As you know, I am live twice a day, Monday through Friday. I have shifted over back to a 10 a.m. start just because it's better off for all of my viewers on the West Coast, and y'all can still utilize me at work. So whether or not that you guys are at work right now or you are going about your day-to-day, please just use me as a podcast or some white noise. I'm going to be giving you all of the updates surrounding the Buffalo Bills, my takes on what to watch for during the Buffalo Bills and the New York Giants battling it out tomorrow at 1 p.m. EST. So stick around for yet another exciting stream. I'm going to try and go about 2 hours today. Statement. Got a feel for the rookie on the Ravens who just got injured last night. That was gruesome. That was gruesome last night. In fact, you know what? I hate to go on ahead and pull this up. And viewer discretion advised, of course. Say, for example, that you have a sensitive stomach. I'd probably look the other way here. But it's not a good picture. I think that was his name, right? Let me see. That's it. Yeah, it was really, really bad, man. So the corner, the rookie, he had a really, really good story. And they have this one image that was circulating around that was, my God, some fan like had a video of it. And it was not pretty at all. His leg was literally sideways. It was pretty gross. If anybody has that picture, please do me a favor and DM me on X so we can take a look at that one. But it was, it was gross. I feel bad for the rookie, man. I know that he was probably wanting to do whatever he could, and so to make or have a shot of making that roster. Daniel Jones was never really that bad. He just got a bad rep because he didn't live up to the first round pick where he was massively reached for. He certainly was. I think the Giants did conduct a massive reach for the QB. No one thought that he was going to go as high as they did. And plus, look, he has never had an offensive line. And I can tell you what, he has inherited the best offensive line he has ever had in his career. Has a semi-decent wide receiving core. Of course, in Michael Pittman, who is probably one of the best possession wide receivers in the NFL. He's not going to burn you with his speed. He's not particularly a great route runner, but he's a quality possession type guy. And then maybe with A.D. Mitchell, like he's been looking okay, I guess, in training camp. And then, of course, with Jonathan Taylor right in the back. Yeah, for sure. I honestly think that Daniel Jones is the best option for Indianapolis. We'll see if they make the right decision at the very least. If you ever feel bad about your team, remember the Colts have Daniel Jones and AR as their quarterbacks. Man. Statement. There's no way Anthony Richardson will be good in calling him a complete bust. How do the Colts fan live through this? We will still never know. Folks, as you are coming in, please do me a favor. Hit that thumbs up sign, all right? We are trying to recruit the largest Bills community on the internet. It is a hell of a lot more exciting when we welcome new friends into the chat. Hit that thumbs up sign for me, guys, and let's get into business. Some things that we need to be watching out for Buffalo Bills and the New York Giants tomorrow, all right? So I think the biggest thing, or one of the biggest things for me, is this QB2 competition. Mitch Trubisky has been given the nod to start. He's going to be having the majority of the starters out there for the first quarter. And right now, I think this is a camp battle a lot of people are not talking about. And whether or not you put much weight into this or you put much importance into this, the QB battle is a bit tighter than I think people are willing to admit. We all know that Mitchell Trubisky, right? He has a $3.25 million cap hit versus Mike White's $1.19. So say that Buffalo is in a better financial position I think the easy answer would have been Mitchell Trubisky to be QB2. But as many of us know, we are scraping for pennies from this organization's perspective. And Mike White, from what I have heard from people that have been to camp, from reports, has started collecting some very impressive performances at training camp by itself. If Mike White can go out there when it is his turn to run the offense, which I'm assuming it's going to be around the second half, and he plays similarly to Mitchell Trubisky with the third and the fourth strings, I think Buffalo might be leaning a bit more toward Mike White as QB2, just due to the cap saving implications that could be put onto the board right there. So that's going to be one thing I will be looking out for. But then again, we have Mitchell Trubisky starting with the starters, and we understand where the Buffalo Bills depth chart is currently sitting. And a lot of these guys, unfortunately, are injured, right? So you have Khalil Shakir, who is questionable at best right now. Same thing with Curtis Samuel, who has been out with a hamstring for about 7 to 8 practices. Okay. Have quite a few other guys, but for the most part, have the entire starting offensive line. And now you have some of these wide receivers, that are going to be fighting for a potential roster spot or even the practice squad. More specifically, I would say Terrell Shavers. He is also going to be a guy that I am going to be watching very closely on Saturday during my live play-by-play reaction. And it's funny because this 6 wide receiver spot has been highly debated all offseason long, especially during training camp. And I think that we've all agreed that Shavers has become the camp sweetheart. He has become the Joe Andreessen of 2024. He has become the Christian Wade of 2022 or 2021, however long he was on this team. And Shavers has been making the most out of his opportunities, especially with all these guys that have been sitting out for the past couple of days at camp, like Palmer, right? Like he just now started doing team drills again. Same thing with Elijah Moore. He was out with something. Khalil Shakir is obviously out. Can this young man solidify his spot as the wide receiver number 6? I feel bad that Josh Allen is not going to be throwing him the football, but I can tell you this. If Terrell Shavers can go out there and have a productive day, and Mitchell Trubisky obviously looks for him early and often, I think this might be a game that is very important for his chances of winning this 6 wide receiver spot. Regardless, I do think that Buffalo rolls with 6 wide receivers this year. I do. But can he play special teams? We're likely not going to be able to see that until the film gets released, which we will be unpacking ad nauseum on this channel as well. And that likely won't be until late Sunday evening. But it's going to be something, right? Like this dude, quality in college, and all of us remember this 69-yard touchdown that he got against the New York Jets not too long ago, last year, before the case. So what can he be? And look at this throwback back in 2017. Welcome to Alabama, Terrell Shavers. So, I mean, what can he do? Can he make a name for himself? I think that's the question. Here, let me see if anybody sent me that picture. Yeah, nobody sent me that picture of that rookie from Baltimore Ravens. Guys, feel free, if, for example, that you would like to send me over some things that you would like me to react to, follow me over on X. We can make that happen. So far, have Mitchell Trubisky. You have Terrell Shavers. What is he going to do with his opportunity against the New York Giants? And then number 3, something I'd really like to see. And it's virtually one of those things where I'm not going to give it the excuse of, oh, it's the preseason. Normally, I'm pretty lenient when it comes into preseason performances. But when I tell you that if this defensive line does not get pressure on the New York Giants offensive line, literally the worst unit in the NFL where it stands today, I'm going to be a bit concerned. This Bills defensive line, first string, second string, and third string, better be causing problems for Jackson Dart on Saturday. What has been the biggest issue for the Buffalo Bills for the past couple of seasons? I think that we can all agree on this. The biggest issue was getting to the damn quarterback. Pressure, solid rotation, depth. I know the Giants are rolling out with their starters, at least on the offensive line, for a first couple of snaps, maybe even for the entire first quarter. So when I tell you that I better see Joey Bosa out there completely causing havoc, same thing with Gregory Rousseau, Ed Oliver, Daquan Jones, you're damn right. And when I see TJ Sanders and Deion Walker go out there, maybe during the second quarter or toward the end of the first quarter, against the New York Giants second string offensive line, you're damn right. I better see some production. I better see some production from Landon Jackson. I better see some production from AJ Epinesa. If Buffalo cannot win against this putrid offensive line that the Giants are rolling out this year, especially their second and their third stringers, then there's going to be a problem. With the everything else, with how wide receivers play, I'm not so much concerned because Josh is not going to be out there. That has already been solidified, right? If Ray Davis perhaps has a bit of a struggle getting going for preseason week 1, I'm not going to be upset. If the secondary, for example, if Tre'Davious White gets burned or something on one specific rep, I'm not going to be upset. But if the defensive line does not do anything short of absolutely dominate, then yeah, most definitely. I think that we're going to be having some conversations, and I'm going to have an issue with that. So that is by far the number one thing I am looking for tomorrow is the defensive line. What are we going to do against an absolutely putrid unit? That is the question. Mike White has talent, and he showed that talent when it came to the Jets. We just didn't see more of Mike White after what our boy Milano did to him. He's just glad to be here. I agree with Bob. Our lines are experiencing a massive improvement. Bob knows football, Dan. Bob does know ball. He does, indeed. Yay, finally I can join live with a new start time. Indeed, folks. Listen, where it stands right now, I think that I'm going to begin just going at 10 a.m. EST rather than 9. So 9 was obviously for when training camp was. And just out of respect for everybody that lives on the West Coast, I'm probably just going to start at 10 a.m. EST from now on. But say, for example, that I have any other impromptu like changes, you can end up circumventing that. As long as you have those bell notifications turned on, you will be notified. But just cement it in your brain. Rest of the season, 10 a.m. EST start, Monday through Friday. And then my afternoon stream is going to be a bit more sporadic, of course, depending on what my Roundtable Sports schedule is looking like. Guys, I think I'm going to have to go on ahead and open up the Garage Beer hotline. So say, for example, that anybody would like to call in with a question and or a statement, something that you would like me to react to, please feel free to do so. I'm going to go on ahead and put this live in the live chat right as we speak. If anybody would like to come in, show a little bit of love, tell me what is on your mind. The link is now pinned at the top of the chat. And roll on in, baby. Roll on in. The call-in hotline here. Let me delete that real fast, and let me actually label it appropriately. Call in. Bang, bang. Yeah, guys, feel free to go on ahead. Lock in and get in right there. I'm going to pin this to the chat. The Garage Beer hotline is officially open. Are the Giants' offensive line gets to see arguably the best defensive front in all of football every day at practice? Very true. But again, sometimes I think that you are constrained to personnel. So the Buffalo Bills better win and win often. Charles the Hammer is in the building backstage. First caller on the Garage Beer hotline. How you doing, man? Talk to me. Charles the Hammer. Hey, man, you're a bit muffled.
Hey.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, man, loud and clear. What's up? Is he there?
Oh,
Hey,
I have
Charles,
a
you there?
question for you.
Sure.
How would you feel? Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah, loud and clear.
How would you How would you feel about a player for player swap between James Cook and Travis Etienne?
Travis Etienne from the Jacksonville Jaguars. From me, it's very rare for a player for player swap, right? Very often you're going to see some sort of draft compensation. For me with Travis Etienne, I think the number one red flag would be his very decorated injury history. I'm not even particularly sure that I would be looking for another running back if James Cook was a part of a trade package. I'd probably look for maybe some future draft capital, maybe somebody on the defensive line. But then again, I think we need to ask, how do other teams value James Cook? It's not us as fans. How do other teams value him? So I'd probably pass on Travis Etienne. His injury history kind of scares me. But yeah, that's sort of where I'm at.
I was just I was just mentioning that because I would rather have a good running back for
Mhm.
17 games than a great running back for 0 games.
Yeah. Yeah, no, man, I definitely understand that. So here's the deal when it comes into James Cook. I really genuinely believe whether or not he gets a contract or not, he's going to be out there week 1. It does not make sense for him to hold out into the first half and or the majority or the full 2025 season. He has way too much to lose. Number 1, he'd be missing out on game checks, and even if he thought, "Hey, you know what? I am going to hold in from week 1, 2, and 3." Say that he does that, then he makes the risk that Ray Davis goes out there and shows the world that, "Hey, same thing with me. I can be that guy that can propel this Buffalo Bills offense to the next level as well." So, it just doesn't make sense. I don't think that James Cook is going to continue to hold out once the regular season gets here. I could be wrong. It just doesn't make sense.
Okay, I got one more question for you. Do you think in week 1 would it really matter whether we win or lose? I mean, yes, for pride's sake, yes. But with the rest of our
Yeah.
next few games after that being easy games, I don't see where we should try to get our guys hurt if the next few games are going to be relatively easy games.
Yeah. So for pride purposes, I need to win this game, right?
Oh,
Because
absolutely.
I have a lot of beef with Ravens fans on the internet, as you know. But I feel like you're onto something. By no means do I think that this is a must win for Buffalo on week 1. First off, it's week 1. And one of the most popular monikers is that week 1 is a lie. But it has no implication because the following stretch leading up to our bye is what many would consider to be a cakewalk, right?
Oh,
So,
yes.
no, I probably wouldn't see the Ravens game to be a must win at all.
Well, see, I get it because my son's a Ravens fan, so it's like father against son. But then my father is also a Dolphins fan, so
Oh,
yeah, I
wow.
got a lot of games coming up.
So, what made you a Bills fan, especially since your dad and your son sort of switched
Um, I
allegiances?
I
What was
was
that about?
I was actually living in Cleveland, Ohio, back in 1976. It
Okay.
was America's bicentennial. I was 11 years old. I saw a team on TV that had red, white, and blue. So, being an
Oh,
11-year-old kid, I said, "This is going to be my team." And my mom said, "Stick by this team no matter what, no matter how many games they win or how many games they lose." She said, "Stick by your team." Been a Bills fan since 1976.
well, I'll tell you,
Bicentennial, red, white, and blue.
well, I'll tell you what, man. Your mom is a very intelligent woman. I love that. Like, you have
Well,
honestly been through the trenches with the Buffalo Bills, man. Like, you've been through quite a bit
well,
of heartbreak. And for the love
she
of
did
God,
marry my
man.
dad, who's a Dolphins fan, though.
Oh, is that right? Well, hey, you
Yeah,
know what? It is what it is. I
yeah.
am very glad that you stuck with the Buffalo Bills as long as you have. And I hope we have something to smile about once February rolls around.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for your content.
For sure, man. Absolutely. Shout out to Charles, man. He's always in the live chat. You know him. He's the guy with the Bills Thor hammer, which is beautiful. I still need to add that right to my collection at one point. But damn. All right, next caller on the damn Garage Beer Hotline. Light of Truth. Steven, what's up, man? How's life?
Hey, good morning, Dan. How you doing today?
I'm doing well, man. It's Friday. It's a beautiful day down here in Florida, and in about a little over 24 hours, we get to see our Buffalo Bills play football for the first time.
Right.
So
Yeah,
I'm
and
doing
I are
fantastic.
you and I are both enduring the hottest time of the year in Florida. I've been here for like 15 years now.
So
Just
whereabouts in Florida again?
St. Cloud, Central Florida, just
That's right.
south of Orlando. Yeah.
Okay.
Just quick background before I get to why I called. So I've been a Bills fan since the 60s. I'm 66.
All right.
And I remember my mom taking me to Old War Memorial Stadium. They had a
Awesome.
quarterback named Dennis Shaw, who was on the heels of Jack Kemp. And
Okay.
anyway, where I really got on board with the Bills, though, was the OJ years. And of course, we agonized through 10 seasons where the Dolphins owned the Bills. We could not beat them, and they built the team around OJ. But, thank God, finally in the late 80s, we got a championship team. Unfortunately, we lost the big game 4 years in a row. But I want to say, I'm really confident. I really believe this is the year that Buffalo is going to finally do it and get us back to the Super Bowl and win it. I wanted to say,
Oh,
first of all, with the first game of the season, I think to me it is absolutely imperative that Buffalo wins that game because,
fair.
first of all, it will give them a 2-game lead for number one seed for the AFC. Secondly,
Okay.
it will send a huge message to the entire NFL that we're the team to beat. Now, that being said, there's three concerns I have for the Bills going into this season, and I'd like to get your response to this. Number one is the James Cook situation. We
Mm-hmm.
definitely need him. He's a great running back, and I think a man deserves to get paid what his work is worth. I just don't know if he should get paid on the level of, Saquon like he says he wants. But
Yeah.
hopefully the Bills work that out. So I'm concerned if we have enough depth with Ray Davis and Ty Johnson at running in case that situation goes bust. Second thing is the Tyler Bass situation. That injury is very concerning to me because we really don't have another kicker. They're talking about Ray Davis, And then the
Yeah.
third thing is, do we have enough depth at the safety position? Because
Mm-hmm.
both right now, both our starting safeties are injured. So that's my three main concerns about the Bills. Other than that, I think Bean's done a great job beefing up the defensive line, the linebacker core, the corners, and of course the wide receiver core. That gives Josh a bunch of weapons, and of course we've got the elite offensive line. So I'd like to get your response to my three concerns that I've expressed about the Bills.
For sure. For sure. Steven, I appreciate the call, and I'm going to dive right into that right now. You're the man, Steve. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
Dude, shout out to Steven for coming in. Some great questions right there. So the first James Cook question, here's the deal. I do not believe that it is going to benefit James Cook whatsoever to sit out this year, largely because his contract is exclusively determinative on him playing. His income is game check. So for every single game that he ultimately ends up sitting out from, he's not going to get paid. And he's due to make $5 million. That is more than double of his total NFL earnings so far in the league by itself. So financially, it does not make sense, especially for somebody that is looking for that amount of money. Number two, will he get a contract this year in 2025? It's still left up to be for debate. Prior to the Kyren Williams contract from LA just a couple of days ago, the NFL had no precedent of what tier 2 running backs were valued at. Now we have that. With Kyren Williams ended up getting around $11 million AAV. He had $23 million fully guaranteed. That I think is fair for James Cook to receive. Some people could potentially even make the argument that he deserves less because his overall production, excuse me, his overall snap count is significantly less than what Kyren Williams was. He's out on the field about 50% of the time. He's not a third down back. He's not utilized as a third down back. Well, Kyren Williams certainly is. Now, what makes it even more interesting is that with James Cook, he has almost equal statistical production as Kyren Williams. So he's making more out of his snaps than Kyren is. Has more of a yards per carry metric for the past 2 years. So I suppose it's two schools of thought. Say that a contract does get done. I have a feeling it's going to either be $1 million on the total value and $1 million on the total guarantees more than what Kyren just received. But again, I don't think that Buffalo and I don't think that James Cook is going to extend his contract into the 2025 regular season, because why would he want to miss out on all of his income? Why would he want to risk Ray Davis potentially taking his reps and proving to the Buffalo Bills, oh, maybe it wasn't James Cook. Maybe it was the offensive line. Maybe anybody could run behind this offensive line. That ultimately ends up hurting him as well. So say that I'm a gambling man. I have a feeling that we might see him report to practice and just start practicing again. And that's only if he doesn't get the contract that he's looking for. So that's the James Cook side of things. I hope that answered your question, Light of Truth. Tyler Bass, the next one. Now, Bass, as many of us know, I would say that that's a bit of a concern on my end because it's pelvic soreness. I had Thigh Doctor on the show not too long ago where he said, look, normally when you hear of an injury around that area, it's listed as groin soreness or a groin injury. Since it is specifically listed as a pelvic soreness or a pelvic injury, that could be a couple of things that could cause, number one, significant pain, and also ultimately end up causing accuracy issues. And the problem is we still have PTSD from the case of the yips that Tyler Bass had 2 seasons ago and about halfway into last season. We can't deal. Our blood pressure can't handle another inconsistent Tyler Bass. I don't think that the Ray Davis thing is a real thing, folks. It's cool that he has experience. It's cool that he hit a field goal during the red and blue scrimmage. But I'm not sure about you. Say that it is a huge game that Buffalo needs to walk away with the W, and it's all on a player that has not had a regular season attempt. So I'm not there. The Buffalo Bills ultimately ended up signing somebody, which is interesting. So it's Purcell Capaccio. Let's bring this up for a second. He just ended up, this guy right here. We have Caden Davis. He was brought in. I don't think that he is a serious replacement for Tyler Bass. I think that we just brought him in so that he could kick field goals for the preseason. But I think, so the next question is going to be like, who would we go with if Tyler Bass's injury continues to scare us? It's probably not going to be a trade. It's probably just going to have to be like bringing somebody that maybe did decent in the XFL, an undrafted free agent from college last year. I suppose we're going to have to cross that bridge. So once we're there, we should be optimistic that we haven't heard of a serious kicker being brought in, meaning that Buffalo must be thinking that he should be okay by week 1. So we can just cross our fingers. Last but not least, safety depth. For me, safeties haven't necessarily been something that have been a concern for me, especially for the past 2 or 3 years, because it's all on how the NFL has been evolving on the offensive side of the football. It's no longer the 2020s. It's no longer 2021 where all of the elite offenses were air raid and where you saw a crazy average depth of target, like right around 12 to 13 yards. They really were just humming piss missiles all over the field, stretching the field, a lot of vertical attempts here and there. How the offense has evolved, at least for the past 2 years, has largely been a lot of short passes and relying on yards after the catch. Basically, the death by a million paper cuts type model. Is there going to be a couple of deep shot attempts down the field per game? For sure. But I don't think that that's enough for me to be kept up at night. I do agree that Cole Bishop, he struggles in coverage so far in the NFL, but Taylor Rapp is very good. He's slept on as far as his coverage capabilities. Can Taylor Rapp elevate Bishop right next to him? It's funny because when you saw all of the games that Taylor Rapp was not out on the field, that is where safety started getting targeted. Not so much about Damar Hamlin. And Kevin actually pointed this out on the Bills Roundtable, which I highly recommend that you guys watch after this episode. It's me, Kevin Zebot, and Bills Bunker. He pointed this out, which is even more eye-opening. He said that, so when Andy Reid ended up mentioning Taylor Rapp as one of the best defensive players or a player that he wanted to avoid out there, that means something. So when the best offensive mind in all of the NFL and in by a large margin is saying that I respect Taylor Rapp, that goes to show you that sometimes it just matters on what one particular safety is doing out there. So we just have to hope that Taylor Rapp is healthy, because quarterbacks typically didn't target that side of the field unless Taylor Rapp was out. And unfortunately, Taylor Rapp hasn't been somebody that has proven that he could stay healthy on a consistent basis. So, safety depth, yeah. And surprisingly enough, I don't think that Damar Hamlin is a bad backup safety. I'm super optimistic on whether or not that it's so that Jordan Hancock as well, who has had reps at safety while he was at Ohio State. Could it be better? For sure. But I feel like with each and every single NFL team, so there is going to eventually be some sort of weakness, and safety, unfortunately, is it. But thankfully, how the NFL trends are evolving on the offensive side of the football, I don't think that us having a questionable safety room is going to be our Achilles heel. What is far more important to me is making sure that we can finally get to the quarterback. I think that's kind of where we're at. All right, boys, let's get into it. Shout out to all the Garage Beer Hotline callers. If anybody else would like to hop in, Matthew is in here, but here, hold up. Let me go on ahead and let me just answer a couple of questions from my boys. Ma Bills has come on in, and she says, exactly, that's what I was really thinking. Cook made a good production last year because of the offensive line and other teammates that do their job on the field. I just don't think that it's going to benefit him at all to miss out on the entire season and run the risk of Ray Davis stealing his job. And then number two, not getting a dime and then not being utilized at all. And then he becomes a free agent and nobody has significant tape from him from the year before. He's not going to get $15 million next year either. Like, not unless he comes back and he plays with a chip on his shoulder and he mimics his exact production as he did for the past 2 years as far as yards per carry and on the ground. Martin Kreis, what is the best streaming service for viewing preseason, regular season, and postseason games? So I have YouTube TV for the Sunday Ticket. That is where I watch all of the regular season games. I want to say that NFL Plus has preseason games, but luckily tomorrow, so the Bills and the Giants are the only slated game for 1 p.m. EST. It should be on either ESPN or NFL Network, so I think everybody will be able to watch it. Going into preseason week 2 and preseason week 3, I think you're going to have to buy the NFL Plus package, I think, which is like $7 to $8 a month, maybe more. But have no fear. Say, for example, that you were trying to just live vicariously and treat me like a radio station. I am going to be giving you live play-by-play of each and every single preseason game. So make sure that you have your bell notifications turned on so you can be informed of everything that is happening on the field, even if you don't have access to what is happening. So, question, as someone who participates in Preseason Fantasy Showdown, who has been the top target / expected to get the most work against the Giants? We have RM56, my boy, coming in, man. Listen, you remind me of my buddy who loves betting on the preseason. Me, I stay far away from any sort of fantasy football and or sports betting during the preseason because it's literally the Wild West. You can't predict it. But say that I had to guess, RM, I have a feeling that Brady is going to give Shavers every single opportunity to earn that 6th spot for the wide receiver room. I really do. So I think that he'll probably be targeted quite often because I do know that that is his audition. I'm thinking 4 to 5 targets. What does he do with those targets? I suppose that's a different conversation, but I could expect Brady to give him his opportunity. Same thing with Keon Coleman. Yeah. So I'd say Keon and then exact same thing with Shavers. Charles has come in. Am I the only one who noticed that most of the Cleveland Browns players are now quarterbacks? 6 quarterbacks currently on the roster, if you include Deshaun Watson, who is still on the IR, which is hysterical. Cleveland Browns, man, what are they doing? I spoke to you about this a month ago. Rapp is great when he's playing, but he can't stay healthy. Go get some insurance and sign the best safety available. Man, listen, we need that guy to get healthy. We need him to. What is up, Dan? I know we're in cap hell right now, straight up broke. How is our cap space looking next season? I'll tell you what, man. How about we take a gander? All right. So one of my favorite places to go is called overthecap.com. Maybe minus all of the really annoying ads that pop up when I go to this website. It's that or Spot Track, but it's just more user-friendly over here. I typically just pull it up, and it gives you a good understanding of where Buffalo currently is sitting with cap space. And I believe this is inaccurate because Buffalo actually is not allowed to be over the cap at this point. But according to this website, and I'm pretty sure it's around the same on Spot Track saying that we're over, we are close to $1 million over. But what does 2026 look like, boys? $4.5 million over the cap where it stands right now. This is significantly better than what it was last year. And don't think that this is going to be the number, obviously. We're going to be able to see some players off of our contract, right? So with Matt Milano, he's going to be off of our books. Same thing with a couple of other guys that could potentially be extended. So say that I had to guess, and it's far too early because I don't know like what some of the roster moves are going to look like. Like we need to see a full regular season in 2025. But if I'm a gambling man, I think we'll probably have close to about $28 to $30 million in potential spend next year, which is going to be ideal. It's going to be better. It's certainly not the best, but I mean, what can you do? What can you do, man? Matthew, the Garage Beer Hotline. What's going on, man? Talk to me.
What's up, Dan?
I'm chilling, brother. How's
Your
life?
health looking nice, looking nice.
Oh, yeah. What's good, man? What you got?
Watched the replay of the Bills Roundtable. Great show again. I missed the beginning part of this show because I just got out of the orthodontist. So
How'd that go?
pretty good. I got my braces off, but they had I have some back wire thing and it popped off. And it's like the second time it happened. So I don't know what's happening. So they put it back on. So
damn.
But
that sounds miserable. I hope everything's good. But what's on your mind about the Bills, man? Talk to me.
on my teeth. But James Cook. I guess James Cook is main talking point right now. But he's gonna play the regular season. It would be stupid of him. James Cook's not that stupid to get fined and not get paid to play.
Mm-hmm.
And if he doesn't get paid before, the first regular season game versus Ravens, not preseason, yeah, he gets paid. I ain't complaining. But if he doesn't get paid, he's going to play. He's going to try to put on a show that so next year, if we do pay him, he'll be able to get a bag or he'll be able to become a free agent. So I'm not as worried as other people are. Like, oh no, he's not practicing, but he's been a part of this scheme for the past whatever years now. He knows Josh Allen. He knows how everything works. He knows the playbook. He knows we have one of the best offensive lines. So even if he missing these practices, he takes a small step back. Is it going to be that much of a problem?
Yeah.
I know everyone's freaking out that he's missing practice, but if he was like a rookie missing practice, then we're having like a different situation. But I highly doubt James Cook's that stupid to not play and
Yeah.
give it all during the regular season.
Yeah, dude. It's something I don't think that people need to be worried about. It doesn't make sense. And I don't think that his agent would give him that advice to extend a holdout. So there's two ways of looking at this. Number one, he's holding in because him and Buffalo are actually very close to a contract. And maybe they're just arguing about some underlying language as far as when his guarantee schedule is or his bonus schedule is, what have you, something intricate. Or it's because him and Buffalo are very far apart. I'm kind of the belief that it's the former because I feel that Kyron Williams deal destroyed any sort of leverage that he had for the hopes of getting $15 million per year once that was released and once that was made public. I don't even particularly think that he wanted 15 million in the first place as well. We haven't heard that he wanted 15 million outside of him pinning a comment that said $15 million per year. For all we know, that's him just being like funny or having a good time on Instagram Live.
Yeah.
We haven't heard exactly what he's looking for. We haven't heard that he wants Saquon Barkley money. Like, we ended up hearing it from this source that turned out to be completely false. I followed up with my source. It was not true whatsoever. So I'm willing to bet what James Cook is doing is he is just holding in now because he realizes that it's about to cross the finish line. And he looks at the Buffalo Bills' current injury report and he says, what am I doing? I'm playing with fire. Let me make sure this gets across the finish line right before I put myself in jeopardy. He's familiar with this team. Like, he has the exact same offensive line as last year. He has the chemistry with Josh Allen. He has the chemistry with the trenches already. So that's my guess. I don't think that they're far apart, but more so on some of the intricate details is what's truly holding this back.
Yeah, and then super quick thing that I gotta go. What are the chances we lose Joe Brady by the end of this season for head
So I got to
coaching?
tell you what, man. Listen, I was shocked that Joe Brady was not on the move this past offseason. I think the only reason that he wasn't on the move was due to the fact that a good job really didn't present itself. He probably took one look at the New Orleans Saints and he said, yeah, I'm going to pass on this one. Here's a hot take. With Joe Brady, I have a feeling what job he is eyeing right now is the Cincinnati Bengals job. If Cincinnati, if they ultimately end up having a similar season to what they did last year, I have a feeling that their head coach, Zach Taylor, is going to be fired. And I think that's the job that Joe Brady is truly looking for.
He was the offensive coordinator for that 19 LSU team, right? I'm not crazy. Yeah, so of course he'll go there. I gotta go, Dan, but thanks for letting me in. Have a good one.
Yeah, no problem. Matthew, man, you enjoy the rest of your day, man. Listen, shout out to all my Garage Beer Hotline callers. We appreciate you for coming in and showing a little bit of love. Question, Dan, who do you see Buffalo moving on from cap casualty that will upset you the most? So I'm really not seeing like any surprise. I've seen a couple of people suggest that Curtis Samuel, right, could be a guy that we could move on from. And they're like, oh, yeah, say, for example, that we cut Curtis Samuel, we could save $7.5 million. While that's true, say, for example, we did do that, we would ultimately end up taking a pretty significant dead cap hit. And whether or not that you like to look at dead cap and take it seriously, it's definitely more of a future concern than anything else. But I'm not particularly buying into the fact that Curtis Samuel is even a possibility of being released this year because Brandon Beane, he still has that bad taste in his mouth from taking all that dead cap when like losing out on Stephon Diggs, right? And while dead cap is not going to affect us this year, right? It is going to, again, set us further back than where we could be next year in 2026. So if we got rid of him, right, like that's like $3.45 million in rate overall dead cap. So Curtis would have to really, really have a bad rest of his offseason. And even if he's hurt, right, it's tough for me to find a path in us being able to take on all of that dead money, especially when you're looking at his contract and he officially has a 2026 out where Buffalo would be able to save even more money, right? So we would ultimately end up saving the $8 million, which is ideal, and the dead cap hit is significantly less. So I'm not seeing that much. As far as a release, it's hard for me to pick something that would upset me, but I kind of have a feeling that so the AJ Epinesa, he could potentially be a surprise cut. So depending on how our defensive line looks, or maybe we end up leveraging him as a trade right before the deadline to bring somebody else in to like have an answer for a potential injury that comes across the board. So that could be it as well. But it's tough. Good point, Dan. Brady united with Burrow and Chase makes sense, but since he likes to hold on to head coaches forever. Yeah, for sure. I think that we need to ask the question, would the ownership be okay with another 9-8 finish or like starting off with another slow start? Because that's what always screws Cincinnati each and every single year is their slow start. So I don't think it's a personnel issue. I think it's more so a coaching issue. So it's that, or I think Joe Brady is just going to be eyeing something that's a bit more attractive for him, right? Like next year's quarterback class is a hell of a lot better than this last one. Say that Tennessee was available last year. I think Joe Brady would have been interested in that one. But so I feel like we just need to savor what Joe Brady has brought to us because I have a feeling that say that he even comes close to what he did last year, he's going to be gone and he's going to have a head coaching job next year. I don't know. I just feel they won't give anything to Cook because of the attitude that he's been given lately. He doesn't fit the culture that Bean and McDermott built, which is humble and hungry. So I feel like his attitude is largely made by the masses. So we really don't know like what Cook has said, how he's acting in the locker room. He's been really quiet about this, right? And so I feel like a lot of us are just taking this situation by like him holding in, and we're assuming that he's really being toxic right within this locker room by itself. But like one thing I will give to James Cook is although he's been holding in, he's still been at every single meeting. He's still been going through all of the walkthroughs at practice by itself. And largely this whole thing of him being a cancer or him being bad for the organization, like we haven't heard like really anything, right? Like he's not going on tweet storms and stuff like that. Like he's not like sending shots to the Buffalo Bills organization on Twitter or anything like that. He's not pulling a Stephon Diggs. He's not pulling a Micah Parsons or anything like that. So I don't know if I'm willing to say that he's like having a bad attitude about it, right? It's more speculation. So we just look at the fact that he's upset with his contract and he's being unprofessional about it. I don't particularly buy that, but I don't know. We'll see. Bills Mafia J718. What's up, Dan? Happy Friday. This Cook thing is Gabe Davis all over our audio. We see how that turned out. Hines, him 10 million or let him walk. Go Bills. That's my guy. I like that. Oh, man. What's up, Dan? Long time no see. Sorry I haven't been in the lives lately. I've been so busy. I'm about to start college on the 14th. Go Bills and go Dan. Go Dan is awesome. All right. And go Bills is even better. Where are you going to college, man? Where are you going to college? Have fun. Freshman year is incredible. My God, man. College, man. It's beautiful. Rob has come in and they were saying Parsons for Oliver, Cook, and a first. See, for Micah Parsons, for me, I really think that he's just a name. He's going to be the highest paid defensive end in all of football, and I'm kind of questioning whether or not that he deserves it. He's been very largely inconsistent. Several Cowboys fans always end up throwing him under the bus for not showing up in very important games. And say, for example, that Buffalo is having a hard time paying James Cook $10 to $11 million right now with their current cap space. So their current cap space, it's going to be even more difficult for us to make a defensive end So the highest paid defensive end in all of football as well. So I don't think that Micah Parsons is going to be on a different team this year. So in my opinion, I think that this is going to be just another like tactic for negotiation. Same thing with Terry McLaurin. Yeah. So I don't see with those players like being on any other team. So to begin with, hey, it's Dan Mitchell, Bearded Johnson. What's going on? Hey, it's Bearded Johnson. How you doing, my friend? Hope all is well. Logan Soils, and do you think Deion Walker and TJ Sanders will start or step up? So I think that they're going to be rotational pieces, right? So I think when it comes into the starters, at least for first and second down, you are looking at Ed Oliver and Daquan Jones for sure. And that second string is going to be TJ Sanders and then Deion Walker. Soon as when Larry Ogunjobi comes back, I have a feeling that Ogunjobi is going to be the guy that's directly behind Daquan Jones. And TJ Sanders and Ed Oliver may be out on the field together during third and long situations or passing downs. But I'm very excited to see what TJ can do. Again, say that you guys are just tuning in. As far as some of the things I'm looking for on Saturday for the first preseason game, I have to see this defensive line win. So against one of the worst offensive lines in football. Like there is no questions about that. That is for sure. TJ Sanders, I agree. He's so good, though. Look at their team. If he doesn't play, they never win. True. Yeah. Dude, he's a dog, and Buffalo has not had like that really cream of the crop edge rusher. I'm hoping that it's Joey Bosa. But number one, we have to make sure that Joey Bosa can stay some like reasonably sense of health, right? Guys, we have 166 of you in the chat right now. Do me a favor. What we're trying to do is we're trying to make sure that we build the happiest family on earth with our live chat community. And we can recruit to this live chat community as long as everyone just hits that thumbs up sign. There's currently 166 of us in here. If 166 of you have hit that thumbs up sign, guys, then we are going to allow YouTube to introduce our family to other Bills fans that may have not been made aware. Let's go on ahead and lock it in. You know that I love engaging with you guys each and every single morning. I have the Garage Beer Hotline, beer taste and beer live. If any of you are feeling froggy and want to hop on the line and talk to me a little bit about what's going on in your mind, do not be shy, folks. Smash that like button. And let's talk a little Buffalo Bills. With all the receiver injuries, do you think that we could bring back Gabe Davis? No. So I don't think that a lot of the injuries are something to be concerned about because vast majority of them are just soft tissue. And I'm willing to bet that say that this was week 1, so our injury report would not be anywhere near as significant. Some of these guys are probably just having slight discomfort or a slight strain. Several injuries that they probably would have played through if, for example, this was the regular season. So I don't think a Gabe Davis reunion is going to make sense unless, of course, we end up seeing multiple significant injuries where guys are going to be missing 3+ games. That's kind of where we're at right here. That's kind of where we're at real fast. Look at that. Who here has yet to pee today? I actually need to pee, to be completely honest with you guys. As I am gone, do me a favor. Again, we haven't done this in a little bit. Sound off in the chat. Roll call. Where are you tuning in from? I want to know how far this Bills Mafia community extends. What corner of the continental United States, what corner of the globe are you tuning in from? Roll call, and then we will let in our next Garage Beer Hotline member. Smash that like button, too. All right, folks. We're back. All right, man. Let's see exactly where everyone's. Oh, look at that, man. This is a beautiful thing already. We have Savannah, Georgia in the building, Altoona, Iowa, Albany, New York, Denver, Colorado is in the building. We have Oneida Lake, 3 hours from Highmark. Guadalajara, Mexico is in the building. Rodolfo, what's going on? Iowa as well. We have LA, man. Los Angeles, California. Look at that. We have Chattanooga. Go Bills, Chattown, San Antonio, Texas, Filthy Dollar Bills. Hope all is well. Bowling Green, Kentucky. It amazes me how far Bills Mafia truly extends. We have Mike tuning in from Facebook, Salt Lake City, Utah. Go Bills. We have Springfield, Ohio. Go Bills. Somerset, Wisconsin is in the building. Vade. And he's starting college this week, boys. Give him the best of luck as we end up welcoming in Robert on the Garage Beer Hotline. What's up, Robert?
What's up, Dan?
Living the dream, man. Trying to. How about yourself?
Good. So I seen your video about Sean McDermott being on the hot seat, right?
Yeah.
So about that Joe Brady, what if we don't win it all? We fire Sean and hire Joe Brady as head coach.
So to be completely honest with you, I do think that Buffalo would be looking for an offensive-minded head coach immediately because we've been coming off 2 straight defensive-minded head coaches already, right?
And that's where the league really is now, with offensive-minded head coaches and not defensive-minded head coaches.
Yeah, most definitely. So it's tough with Sean McDermott because, again, as somebody brings up, so the Pagulas also own the Sabres, and they probably look at that dumpster fire and they say, well, at least the Bills are making us money with all these playoff like merchandise flying off the shelves and tickets. But it has to be said, right? Like with Josh Allen so far, man, like he's won 7 playoff games, and he is the only quarterback in the history of the NFL that has won 6+ playoff games and hasn't made it to a Super Bowl. Sean McDermott is only one of 2 coaches that have won 6+ playoff games and have not made it to a Super Bowl either. And there's also something floating around that's saying if a head coach and a quarterback duo have not won the Super Bowl in their first 5 years together, it has historically never happened. You got to ask, if the exact same shit happens this year, say, for example, we get bounced by the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC Championship, I think that a change would need to be made, right? Yeah. It's sort of where I'm at. Like, we heard from Dion Dawkins, too, because why I was making that video was because Nick Wright from Fox Sports, he came up and he said that Dawkins said that it's never Super Bowl or bust for us, and that's what he was reacting to. That kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I'm like, why wouldn't you feel that it's Super Bowl victory or bust? There's not many teams in the NFL right now where the fan base is looking at this season and saying it's either we win the Super Bowl or it is a complete failure of a season. I'm not sure how you feel about that, but that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Yeah, it's definitely Super Bowl. With Sean McDermott, it's Super Bowl or fired this year, I feel like.
It's not even making it either. It's winning.
Yeah.
It's winning it.
All right. Thank you, Dan. Talk to you later.
Yeah, dude, Robert, man, I appreciate the call. So, guys, I know that this is yet again another controversial topic, but of course we are a family and we are going to be talking about it. I did put out a video a bit earlier. It was inspired by what we saw from the Fox Sports host Nick Wright, who I know that a lot of us are not particularly fond of, but he did make a pretty interesting point. I think that we should hear about it. Let's take a look. All right. And by the way, guys, say, for example, that like you ever want these short form videos, I highly recommend you follow me on Instagram and or TikTok at Real Dan Mitchell. That is where I put all of these little short videos. I covered the entire NFL right within that too. So, but let's check it out. Say that you don't think Sean McDermott is on the hot seat. You will after this video. Now, this clip started surfacing from First Things First, Nick Wright, and I know how Bills Mafia feels about the guy, but he makes a very interesting point. He pointed out in response to Dion Dawkins' statement, there's never Super Bowl or bust, that 30 quarterbacks have won 6 or more playoff games. Josh Allen has won 7. Josh Allen is the only player that has ever won 6+ playoff games and has never made it to a Super Bowl. Now, Nick Wright went on to say, if it's not Josh Allen, which it's clearly not, it has to be the head coach in Sean McDermott. Same exact guy, has 7 playoff wins, and the only head coach to never make it to a Super Bowl with 6+ wins in the playoffs was Seattle Seahawks head coach back in the day, Chuck Knox. Now, to add further pain to the conversation, a head coach and a quarterback duo have never won a Super Bowl if they didn't get it done in the first 5 years together. Now, look, I am a Sean McDermott apologist typically. Like, the Buffalo Bills have been going through so many key injuries on the defensive side of the football at the absolute wrong time, especially for the past 2 years. But make no mistake, this year is truly Super Bowl or bust. Super Bowl victory or bust. Sound off in the comments and let me know your thoughts. Yeah, guys, it's definitely part of the conversation, right? But like, will the Pagulas do it if the season ends up the exact same way that it does? You know what? It does suck because I do feel for Sean McDermott as well, right? Because we ended up saying goodbye to a dynasty and then we welcomed one in immediately afterwards. I think the question becomes, and sound off in the comments and let me know your theory on this one. How many Super Bowls would the Buffalo Bills have gotten if the Kansas City Chiefs were not the Kansas City Chiefs for the past 5 years? Like, what are y'all's thoughts on that? How many Super Bowls would Buffalo have had or won if Kansas City was not in the equation? I feel like you got to say 1, right? 1 at least. I mean, maybe 2. It just depends on how you look at it. Dan, what do you drive? Are you in Nashville or is that your next move? And lastly, when are you taking us on a tour of the new place, man? Soon, bro. Soon. I will take you on a tour of the new crib here soon. So Nashville is where I want to ultimately end up. Right now, I live in the panhandle of Florida. It's beautiful. And then what do I drive, my friend? I drive a GMC Sierra, dude. GMC Sierra. It is beautiful. It is my pride and joy. Love that damn thing. Can tell you that much. What's up, Dan? Happy Friday. This Cook thing is Gabe Davis all over the audio. We see how that turned out. Hines him $10 million. Oh my God. Williams in the chat. What's up, bro?
What's up, man?
Oh, man. Oh, I'm living the dream. How about yourself?
Same. Literally just waking up every day I wake up, you're on, so I have to make sure I tune in.
It's my guy, man. You're on the road, I see.
Say that again?
And so you're on the road, I see. Where are you headed?
I am actually on my way to Walmart.
Oh, yeah?
Stopped and got the Dunkin'. Everybody runs on Dunkin'.
It's good, dude. It's good. Me and Richie actually always have a debate about like how so with the Dunkin' coffee far surpasses Starbucks, but I suppose, and that's another conversation for another time.
I just want to get your thoughts on something. So with Joe Burrow playing last night, and I probably asked this, I don't know if you read it or not.
Yeah.
With Joe Burrow playing last night and labeled, worldwide as top 5 NFL quarterback, do you think it was a smart decision for Coach Taylor to put him in when we have Lamar Jackson sitting out, we have Josh Allen sitting out, and he's in those top 3?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. So my thing with Joe Burrow, man, like one thing that's plagued the Cincinnati Bengals for years was their slow starts. And largely probably has to do with the fact that they have slow walked all of their starters right into the preseason. My theory here is that like Zach Taylor recognized that and he said, look, I cannot afford to have another slow start because that's what screwed us last year and not being able to make the playoffs. So I think it's almost a necessity for these guys to get early reps so they don't start the first 3 games of the season averaging like 20 points per game, especially with that damn defense. Last night, I'm not sure if you watched it, but dude, some of the starters out there in Cincinnati, like that Philadelphia backup offensive line literally created an entire zip code for one of their backup running backs. Like that defense is awful. So I think Cincinnati can't afford to have this offense start off rusty.
I can understand that, especially with you want your rookies, you want your your new guys to basically get a feel for who their QB is. And Cincinnati has definitely labeled Joe Burrow as their QB no matter what, just like Buffalo with Josh Allen. My only concern is Joe Burrow has been hurt, and if he ever was in a position like me as a coach, I wouldn't want my starter to get hurt.
Yeah,
just like with Anthony last night.
Yeah, I know, dude. So that guy right there, man. As far as the Colts, so they just need to go on ahead and just like make sure that job is Daniel Jones. Stop wasting time. Stop wasting time and taking away first team reps away from him. Why would you start that quarterback in Anthony Richardson when he has proven time and time and time again that he is susceptible to injury? Exactly. It's a complete waste of time, man. Was literally the first or second snap, he was done. It's out. It sucks because I know that Anthony Richardson doesn't want to be like that, but it's the fact of the matter. He's just an injury-prone player, and I think Indianapolis just needs to accept that.
Yeah, I kind of got your feel for that when it came to Balin. So I was like, yeah, I know he's happy he's gone.
Oh, dude, holy shit, man. He should be getting all of the hate that Damar Hamlin gets. Exactly. Is Balin Spector. Well, he should be the one. Yeah.
In my view, Balin, his first rep, that was what everybody thought about, when he had that great tackle and then nothing else. Nothing else. Injury. So
his coverage is absolutely disgusting, but it's good that Matt Milano has stepped up. He's looking damn good. I do want to see what he looks like in coverage, though. Same thing with Bernard. Can he stay healthy? It sounds like Buffalo Joe's been actually doing really well. He's no longer just a good story. He's actually a contributor. And Shaq Thompson, don't sleep on Unc, bro. Don't sleep on Unc. He still got it.
I can't lie. I'm a Shaq Lawson kind of person. I've loved Shaq Lawson since we drafted him, and then I'm sad we had to let him go a couple times. But
Shaq, yeah.
All right, man. Well, I'm about to run in here. I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Yeah, you as well, man. And so I appreciate the call, and feel free to do it anytime, man. And so the Garage Beer line is always open. Shout out my boy William, tuning in, showing a little bit of love, having a good conversation. So about some of our AFC rivals, Cincinnati Bengals. And so I wouldn't put the Colts as a rival. With that team, it's just an absolute dumpster fire. Question, and do you think Joe Burrow would request a trade by any chance? So I feel like that situation would need to turn out the absolute worst. Say that Cincinnati went 9-8 or 8-9 this year and missed the playoffs once again, and then the organization turned around and said, hey, we're keeping Zach Taylor. Then maybe, right? Something's got to give. Something has to give, right? So we'll see. We shall see. Buffalo's overrated. Receivers are mid. Ravens blowing y'all out week 1. So you're saying that. So what's the nickname I always give him? It's the regular season Jackson. So regular season Jackson is going to come into Buffalo and beat us? Well, I mean, probably, but we'll see. Get off the call, man. What's going on? Question. How is Landon Jackson and Maxwell Harrison so far? So unfortunately, Maxwell Harrison is out with a pretty significant knee injury thus far. It's not season ending. He should be back by week 1. We definitely dodged the bullet, but he has been injured, which is unfortunate. But Tre'Davious White has been really making a name for himself as CB2. Super excited about that one. Thomas has come on in. What's up, Dan? I'm locked in with you. That's my guy, man. I like that. Johnny is coming. Shaq Thompson is basically a security blanket if Matt Milano gets hurt. Very similar player. Yes, he's older, but of course, it's how we go with that. And do you have any rituals or superstitions you do during the season? I'm trying to think this year, rituals or that. Normally, I wake up in the morning, and so I always work out, and so I always go get a lift in. And then I typically go for a walk around the neighborhood, right before the game. Back in the day when I would go to the bar, so to watch the Buffalo Bills, I always had to make sure I had my exact bar stool. So I'd be one of the first people to show up at said bar to make sure I got it. Sometimes I had to offer somebody that was sitting there, I would offer to like buy them a couple of beers so that they could move over so that I could like sit there. But now that I've been streaming at home, like nothing too significant. What about y'all? Now I'm curious to hear what y'all's pregame rituals and superstitions are. That's actually a really good conversation. Dragon Dude 815, was there practice today? There was not practice today. All public practices for the most part are done. I'm not sure if media and or fans are allowed to be at the joint practices, which start next week. But as far as all the public practices at St. John Fisher, those have concluded. How was Landon Jackson? I honestly thought that he would be really good, but I haven't really heard anything about him so far. Yeah, man, you were not wrong. He really hasn't been dominating the headlines so far, but that's kind of to be expected. Like, he's a quality run defense type of defensive end. He still needs a lot of development when it comes into his pass rush moves. And I'm optimistic that he can be that guy, but yeah, you were not mistaken, man. He really has not had an incredible practice. He has not dominated the headlines. He's just been out there. He's been getting his reps, and hopefully he'll be able to develop sooner than we expect. Brody, I have a superstition with the hat that I wear and the way that I wear it. My ritual is, oops, okay. All right, we have Mikey. I only have the Red Bills jersey, but it's been in hiding since we can't beat a certain red team in the playoffs. Burn that thing, man. I love it. I set up my memorabilia and cards of the Bills and don't touch them if they start off great. I love that. I only pee when Buffalo is on defense. That's a pretty good superstition. I do like that. I order pizza and wings, drink beer, wear my jersey, and hard hat. Okay, so we have the hard hat there. Okay, I can appreciate that one. We have Bearded Johnson. I make the perfect steak the day before the game. Not sure how I'll manage that from a hotel week 3. But, dude, I really hope that we're able to link up at the tailgate. Me and all the AFC East Roundtable guys are going to be there. Same thing with Rico and Z-Bot. But yeah, most definitely, man. We're going to be at an Airbnb right by the stadium. We're doing like a live event. So the night before, it's going to be tough. Maybe we're going to have to go get a good steak, right? Maybe we're going to have to go get a good steak. If you were honest and from the situation and place we are in right now, do you think we are going to win the Super Bowl this year? It's tough for me to make that claim, right? Because it's so intricate. It's so intricate of what goes into a Super Bowl winning organization. Like, so right on paper and who our quarterback is, 110%, man. Like, we always have a shot. But the one thing I think we often forget is what exact team is going to be rolled out during each and every single playoff game. What has been plaguing us has been key injuries on the defensive side of the football, a significant drop-off in second and third string players having to account for some of the injuries. Last year's playoff game, second that Christian Benford went down, that became a massive weakness that Patrick Mahomes ended up exploiting. Year before that, right? Like, we had Bernard and Taron Johnson and Christian Benford out. So what did they do? They targeted Travis Kelce in one of our weak points where we had AJ Klein playing the Matt Milano role. It's just how it is, dude. So say that we can stay relatively healthy and we can limit key injuries in the playoffs, then yes, I do believe that we have a team good enough to win it all. But we need to stay healthy. And if we can't, then we need our depth guys to really live up right to that one thing where it truly is the next man up. How good can the next man up be? I think that's the question. I have a Kincaid jersey and a Trey Day jersey. When the new Rivals jerseys come out, who should I get? You have Kincaid, you have Trey Day. Oh, I like that. Who would I go with? Benford, for sure. That, I think, is my next jersey investment, is going to be Christian Benford. He's probably my favorite player next to Josh Allen right now. Sorry I cannot get on earlier. It's completely fine, my friend. I appreciate that. For the most part, I think most people have been relatively well behaved. During the game, if something bad happens, our entire household shifts until something good happens, and then nobody moves. We adjust to do our part. I love that. I love that, man. I love hearing all of these superstitions. Check the mic connection. It's static. Yeah, I'm getting my boom arm back. I'm getting my boom arm back soon. If the Bills don't get it done, do you think we will fire McDermott? It's not so much what I think, it's what the Pagulas think, unfortunately. I think that's kind of where we're at. Also, make my fiance wear a Buffalo hoodie even if she's not watching. Smart. Benford is easily the most underrated cornerback in the NFL. Thank you for preaching that. So who's playing Josh Allen when Hollywood inevitably makes a movie about this season? That's tough. So I have to go with somebody that looks like somewhat similar to him. Who would be an actor that would play Josh Allen once Hollywood makes a movie about him? Like, who looks similar to him? Like maybe Chris Pratt, right? Maybe? Here. Let me see if like Twitter has ever brought this conversation up. Josh Allen portrayed in a movie. Actually, you know what? That's great. In fact, we're going to do this right now. If Hollywood made a movie about Josh Allen, who would play him? All right. Interesting question brought up in my live chat. If Hollywood made a movie about Josh Allen, who would play him? And let's do a little picture of Josh Allen over here so we can please the Twitter gods here. Hold on. There you go. How about this? Bang. Folks, and feel free to follow me on X too, folks, in case you ever want to know exactly what goes through my mind at all times. And so I can see Chris Pratt for sure. Yeah, you know what I mean? I think that's the only answer right there. And shout out to Bearded Johnson for a pretty good question right there. Crispy Rat. Wow, look at that. We have Liam Hemsworth. He goes out of head and he plays Josh Allen, Chris Pratt. We have Andy Dwyer. Let me see who that guy is. Who is that guy? Let me see. Andy Dwyer. That's my guy. Parks and Rec. Great damn show. We have Pedro Pascal. He seems to be in everything these days. Dude, for sure. He seems to be just about everything these days. Oh, man. All right. So let's see what's going on in the world of the Buffalo Bills in my Bills Beat Report. Guys, listen, if you are just joining, we ended up unpacking all of the things we're looking for at the Bills and the Giants game. We have already identified that I'm not anticipating a regular season type performance from, I'd say, the vast majority of the group, with the exception of the defensive line. As many of us have heard earlier today, I am expecting regular season production from the defensive line on Saturday. Not because I'm desperate to see the Buffalo Bills finally end up living up to the call. It's all based on the competition that they are going to be seeing on Saturday. We are literally going up against the worst offensive line that the NFL has in the New York Giants. We better see production. From this unit. Look at that. Deion Dawkins, number 42 in the NFL 100. I can tell you what, like, one thing that did sort of rub me the wrong way was, I guess he was quoted something where he said that he doesn't believe that the Buffalo Bills are Super Bowl or bust. If not now, then when, Deion, right? That I didn't particularly like, but I guess I'm grasping at straws here. Question, what's the lineup for quarterbacks with the Giants? I am assuming Wilson is first. He's leading the competition. I'm pretty sure he's already been named the starter, and Jackson Dart is going to be starting against the Bills tomorrow. That is good. I'm very excited to watch that defensive line specifically tomorrow. You and I both, again, if, for example, we are not in Jackson Dart's face early and often, I think that's time to start being concerned. 0 questions asked. We better see our starting defensive line get some damn pressure. That is what I want. What is Deion's definition of a bust? I don't know. We have been saying, if not now, when for years, though. I think he just means we have many chances to win. Touche. A strong statement. So you took that out of context, Dan. He was trying to say that he feels his team is ready to win a Super Bowl for many years to come. I hope that's the case, and maybe I did. If that's the case, I like it, but I got to get it done now. I got to get it done now, man. All right? I'm getting older. 34 years old, all right? Give me a Lombardi trophy. Give me a parade to attend. I think that's the question. I heard a former Wyoming quarterback made the 53-man roster, and he has a good chance of starting week 1. He's actually been named the starter. I wish him nothing but the best. Can he be what the Buffalo Bills need? Can Josh Allen, who was recently named QB1 this year, get it done for us? Where is the quote of Deion saying this? It is with something that Nick writes. Hold up. First things first. Here. Let's pull this up. Right here.
Have done better in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I'm not going to play that because I will get sniped from the monetization gods, but that's what we're looking for. LFG Buffalo, I can't wait. Big Dan, love your show. Fluffy Potato, what's going on? Thank you so much. LOL, don't give me that shit about getting old. Oh, man, I'm 34. Dan is a youngin', man. I wish, bro. Well, Nick Wrong ran with that quote from Deion. He certainly did. Hey, Dan. Tuning in from work. Go Bills, and thanks for your coverage. Blake, no problem at all, man. I appreciate that. I am live Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. EST. And I like to go for about an hour and a half to 2 hours, depending on what the news is looking like. But so far, we have discussed things that we're looking for on preseason week 1. I will be live reacting to each and every single snap on Saturday. So say that that's your cup of tea and you want some play-by-play reaction. Maybe you're not going to be able to watch the game, but you still want to be plugged in to know what's happening. You know, tune in, man. Let's see exactly what we're talking about. And shout out to Deion Dawkins for being 42 in the NFL 100. Could Stephen Gosnell be this year's training camp darling? Maybe he already is. And wait until you hear his nickname. I'm not going to play that video. A well-deserved top 100. Look at that, man. Deion Dawkins, that's it. Tom Brady's statue will be unveiled live on the Patriots' social and digital platforms tonight at 6. It's going to be a beautiful structure of Tom Brady making out with a referee. Guys, spoiler alert, that's precisely what it's going to be. Of course, Nick is going to take it out of context. Question, would you rather have the Bills win the Super Bowl this year with Josh Allen, or would you go to 3 or more Super Bowls not knowing if you could win or lose? I know the obvious answer. Would you rather have the Bills win the Super Bowl this year with Josh Allen, or would go to 3 or more Super Bowls not knowing if you would win or lose? I know the obvious answer. That's a tough one. That's a tough one, man. I trust that Josh Allen would be very competitive in said Super Bowl, especially against the NFC. Surprisingly enough, I think I would rather go to 3, not knowing whether or not that we would win. Because I just know it's just been that Achilles heel for the Bills is the Kansas City Chiefs. And a lot of the past NFC contenders, I didn't even think stood close to what Buffalo was. So I know that we would have ended up beating the Rams that one year. I think probably would have beaten so Rams for sure, Bucks maybe. It's tough. It's tough to say, but I kind of have a feeling that I would choose the latter for sure. Playing Kansas City used to give me anxiety. They really don't worry me anymore. Ravens are the true threat. Thoughts? So it depends on when we play them, right? So the regular season, sure, but during the playoffs, not so much. I just haven't seen quite enough of that. I would rather know I'm going 3 straight. Me too. Rate in a Bills versus Eagles Super Bowl. Who sleeps on the couch? You. Oh my God. Who sleeps on the couch, man? Who sleeps on the couch? All right. Let's see. So help me God, if the Brady statue is larger than the Buffaloes, we're going to be having a problem. We could say back when men were men, this is peak male form. Look at that. Look at that, man. Some shout out to the 90s. Oh, yeah. So in case that we were unaware, we did end up bringing in a kicker. For those of us that have not really been paying a lot of attention to the fact that Tyler Bass has been out, I suppose that's something we should have a conversation about for now. This guy, I do not think is going to make this team. He is a rookie. He's coming out of Ole Miss. He's likely just going to be a guy that is going to fill in for the preseason. If Tyler Bass's injury is more significant, I think that we end up bringing in somebody else. Let's see what this kid can do. Dan, personal question. How the hell do you pay your bills? I don't understand how guys like you and Joe Marino make a living from podcasting. Honda at Westport, man. Yeah, dude. So I am very transparent. So when it comes into my earnings, so normally, like once you get to a certain level of like views and everything along those lines, so with companies, so they look at you as an advertising like billboard. So for example, like one company will just be like, hey man, listen, like we know that your audience is right in line with like our target clientele. So what they'll do is that they will typically pay you monthly in flat fees for you to go on ahead and just feature their company's logo and to go on ahead and say, guys, definitely go check out this company or that company. So I'm super careful with like who I partner with because number one, I have to make sure that I actually like the product because say that I don't, probably not going to mention it. So that is a way as well. So it's mostly brand revenue is how I make a living and pay my bills. Same thing with YouTube ad revenue. You have TikTok ad revenue. You have merchandise. Sometimes like you'll have like some radio spots or like some radio stations reach out to you to come on and talk about the bills. That's typically paid as well. Yeah, but I'd probably say about 70% of my earnings come from brand deals. And I'm super blessed with that. And I'm assuming that, so with Marino, he probably has the exact same thing, but it's brand deals is how we get it done. Statement. I have been through 4 Super Bowl losses. Take the guarantee win. Ooh, that's fair. I would pick 1 Super Bowl because Josh Allen needs at least 1 ring. Look at that. Horn Hunter's coming in. What's up, man? How you doing? Love it, Dan. We appreciate you not pulling a cook. Yeah, man. Yeah, dude. No issue. I am certainly blessed as far as the funds are concerned. So where I can go on ahead and I can talk football with the boys. And listen, I would not have had these brand deals unless you guys found me somewhat entertaining. So it's thanks to y'all, and I thank you all the time for all of that stuff. What do you think about Keon Coleman and if he will do great this year? Man. So with Keon, I'm really optimistic on the guy, but then again, I'm not going to get too excited because it is training camp. We have seen a couple of things that have reared its ugly head that was a trend in his rookie season. When it comes into Keon Coleman, like what I want him to be is just that gotta have it type contested catch guy, like that gotta have it type contested catch guy, and just be a red zone target for us. So I don't think that he's going to be putting up wide receiver 1 numbers. And so I think that Khalil Shakir is indeed going to be our number 1 targeted wide receiver once again. And so I think Dalton Kincaid is probably going to beat Keon in overall targets too. But just give me Keon Coleman to be a reliable situational guy when it comes into red zone targets and contested catches. And he's also very quality in yak. He's weapon number 3 for me. He's weapon number 3 for me this year in the 2025 season. That is indeed it. But folks, I'm going to tell you what, that's going to have to do it for another day of your favorite morning show pertaining to the Buffalo Bills. We learned quite a bit. Again, guys, I do want to remind everybody, we have a brand new show that just launched on the Roundtable Sports Network. It's called The Bills Roundtable. If you haven't already, and if you haven't checked it out, that link is in my description. So say, for example, you wanted to pop in. It is a Bills collective conversation Mondays and Thursdays between myself, Z-Bot, the Bills Bunker, and Kevin Masari. We unpacked all of the things we're looking for during Bills and Giants, the James Cook situation. Go check that out and do me a favor and subscribe. We are live every single Monday and Thursday at 5 p.m. EST. So make sure you have those bell notifications turned on as well. And say, for example, that you were a college football guy. We also launched a college football show, which is also on Mondays and Thursdays, but at 6 p.m. EST. That link is in the description as well. Right on this video, we ended up giving you our predictions for conference champions in 2025 in college ball. So say, for example, that is your cup of tea. I highly recommend you go on ahead and you tap in there, maybe go subscribe, watch some videos, and I will see you guys a bit later this afternoon when I'm live on 4th and Forever. Thank you so much for tuning in. I love each and every single one of you, and we'll see you later. Peace.